So it's Halloween time again, and I just made a video for you guys about the 5 reasons that I love Halloween, or 5 things that I love about Halloween, or whatever we ended up titling it because I don't really remember. Well, today we're going to talk about 5 things that I really hate about Halloween and how I'm managing to live with them anyway and having a pretty decent Halloween every year. So come on, let's get better together. So Halloween, we know that I really like the candy. Okay, I think we've made that very clear. I love the little ones dressing up. But there are some things about Halloween that are a bit of a struggle for me. Some of them are kind of triggering for me. And I think in general, anyone who's had any kind of childhood trauma, and I'm finding it harder and harder to find people who don't have childhood trauma or life trauma that they're now carrying with them. For some people, you know, we talk about childhood trauma, and then there's people who are like, you know what, crap happened to me in my 20s and it totally effed me up. Do I not count? Yeah, you know what? It does count. For people who have trauma, holidays, special occasions can be really triggering. So there are 5 things about Halloween that really push my buttons, and I'm learning how to deal with them and how to like push a different button that makes things a little bit better, and I'm gonna share those with you. So let's start with the 5 reasons I hate Halloween. And by the way, we are going to end this video with one of the saddest yet funniest and heartwarming in the end Halloween stories from my actual life. It runs the gamut. It's like an epic film. Are you ready? One of the biggest triggers for me about Halloween is people in masks. Now, I don't even actually know, I have not uncovered yet, maybe I never will, what the childhood trauma is around the masks. And it may not even be a childhood thing, because it doesn't feel like it bothered me when I was a kid, but it bothers me now, like as I got into my like 30s, 40s, and 50s. So it may have been something, maybe it's a college thing that like I've blocked out. I don't know, but there's something about people in masks, okay? And I feel very uncomfortable around them. So what I've learned to do are the following things. First of all, I have learned not to watch scary movies where the killer or the bad guy wears a mask, because that's only reinforcing whatever this fear I have about masks is in my body and in my mind. I don't need help from the movies. Thank you. Really, don't do it. Just if you're afraid of masks, don't watch Friday the 13th, right? So, you know, as much as you might love Friday the 13th, it's also psychologically reinforcing your fear of people in masks. If you have a fear of people in masks, don't do that. Okay. Another thing that I have done is that I have had positive interactions with people wearing masks. Well, how the heck do you do that? Well, basically, a lot of times, you know, you're somewhere, and it's not little kids in masks, by the way, that bothers me. It's grown-ups in masks. So it's not the little kids in masks, I'm fine, but there is an age at which, I don't know, someone gets into adulthood and they put on a mask, which is a perfectly okay thing to do, and all of a sudden I'm like, so there's something there. So how do I get past that? Get past that kind of with the same, you know, cognitive behavioral therapy type of things that we use to get past other triggers and anxieties. And for me, more than aversion therapy, which is where you just keep exposing yourself to something until it doesn't bother you anymore, for me, it's having a positive interaction with something repeatedly will help me. So of course, sometimes you need to get past your aversion to do that, but I'm just saying. So let's say we're out on Halloween and there's people trick-or-treating and there's a grown-up wearing a mask. Now, there's a part of me that there feels revulsion and a little bit of fear. And so the other part of me, the rational me that's trying to give myself a good life, walks up to the person. And I just realized it's always a man. It's always a man wearing a mask that bothers me. So I walk up to the dude in the mask, because I was gonna say walk up to the dude in the mask, and then I realized it's always a man. Okay, we're uncovering things together here. I walk up to the dude in the mask and I say, hey man, cool mask. Or, hey, that's a great mask, where'd you get it? Now I know 99% of the time they're gonna say Spirit of Halloween, but whatever, okay? I have a positive interaction with the person in the mask. Another thing you can do is go to one of the Halloween stores and either try on masks yourself and like look in the mirror and look at yourself and know that it's you in the mask and it's okay. But some people don't like that because the masks make them feel claustrophobic. But also just watch other people trying on masks and see that people are just trying on masks and laughing, and that it's just people under the masks, and they're nice people, and they're people just like you. And so that's how I talk myself out of and talk myself down from the mask trigger. So if anybody has that, I hope that's helpful for you. Another thing, number two, and this has been a big one for me, and I've been working really hard on this. And it's memories of crap childhood Halloweens. So, you know, I'm 53, so I grew up in the 70s. So first of all, I need to preface this with things were different in the 70s. And you know, Halloween wasn't as big a thing as it is now in terms of costumes and decorations and stuff like that. But it was a huge thing in terms of trick-or-treating. Like, I think that was like the epitome, like the 70s was like the trick-or-treat. I mean, like you could go out for hours and you would just have all of this candy. Now towns have curfews and trunk-or-treat, and it's just not as much fun. But I also have a lot of memories around some crappy things about Halloween when I was a kid. And one of them was that we had this really, really gross Superman mask that was once part of, I believe, a Superman costume. But by the time I was like around, it was still in the crap box that it came in. They came in these little cardboard boxes with like this plastic, and it was all like just beat, and it smelled like mold, and it was just gross. I don't even know if it was originally my brother Michael's. He's 7 years older than I am. Might have been a hand-me-down to him. I don't know where it came from, but it was nasty. And these costumes in the 70s were heinous, and it was the only one we had. So it was either wear this or make something up. And then my grandmother, in order to help us see better, because these masks were also dangerous, they had like slits where your eyes were. Like, you know, things are so much safer now. People from the 70s always joke about, we survived, but like we didn't. A lot of us died because of dumb stuff, like plastic masks with slits for eyes, so we were walking in front of oncoming cars, not realizing it. So my grandmother cut like bigger eye holes, but she didn't do it in any, it looked like a serial killer did. It was just all jagged, and it was like really nasty. I remember that mask, and I just remember the complete lack of interest in Halloween by the adults. Like, no one gave a crap if we had a costume. Nobody asked me what I wanted to be. Nobody gave a crap because they were too busy and too wrapped up in their own lives, and probably also keeping us fed. You know, times were tough. But that would have been great if it were everybody else's parents too, but it wasn't. And so I would go to school, and other people's families, moms, whatever, had made costumes either for them or with them. Not a lot of people bought costumes back then, but they made them. And so kids would come in and they'd have these like just really well thought out, and even if it was cobbled together, like their parents' clothes and their grandpa's glasses and, you know, some makeup their mom did or whatever, but somebody helped them. That wasn't how it was for us. We just like grabbed stuff. I'm so bad. Oh my gosh. And then you would do the parade, and like other people be walking by and they're cute, and I'm over there in a poncho, dish towel, like waving to no one because my family wasn't there. So how the heck do you get past that, Melissa? Come on. Well, first of all, at some point you need to leave your childhood there and just go, hey, that sucked. But another way that I have helped myself to heal some of that is really weird. It's really weird, but you got to go with me on this one. It's a technique a lot of therapists will use with their clients. I'm not a therapist. I've just had it used with me. I visualize myself having the perfect childhood Halloween. So if I could make up the perfect childhood Halloween, what would it have looked like in my head? I would have been wearing a costume that my mom made for me. And you know, my mom and my grandma would have helped me get dressed that day for Halloween and helped me do my makeup and my hair and everything. And I would have had a cute costume. And then I would have gone to school and I would have brought in really cool snacks, that somebody made. And then when we did the Halloween parade, my mom and my dad and my stepmother and my grandmother would have all been there, like, you know, to wave. And then afterwards I would go trick-or-treating with like friends that we're just pretending I had friends, and I had a really good time. So that would kind of be like my perfect childhood Halloween memory, and like my family was with me and everybody was laughing and it was a good time. So I would kind of visualize that. Like, how does that even help? That cannot be a thing, Melissa. It actually is a thing. No, it doesn't wipe out what happened. No, it doesn't make the past not sucky. But it does give me something inside. It does give me a little something. And the other way to get past all of the crap Halloweens of my childhood is to celebrate Halloween as an adult in any way that I want. So yeah, I've had a lot of great Halloweens as an adult because I made sure I did. I wasn't gonna let what happened to me in my past dictate my future. Just because Halloween used to suck doesn't mean it has to keep sucking. Important lesson. Number 3 thing, and this is a thing that started after I became a parent. I really became aware of the adult pressure during Halloween. Now I joke about the 70s and how nobody gave a crap about anything, but there were some good things about nobody giving a crap during the 70s, because now we give way too many craps in the 21st century, and now everything is a competition. Everything is about giving your child the most elaborate, perfect Halloween every year, which is such a pendulum swing. It's like, whoa, wow, what happened here? But there's a lot of pressure on parents to decorate. I mean, now we decorate. They have Halloween lights. They have the Halloween hologram thing that shines on your house now. People put up lights for Halloween. What the heck? People used to throw out a pumpkin and then the squirrel ate it before Halloween ever happened. But no, now we've got lights and we've got inflatables and we've got people doing entire dioramas on their front lawn, and they've got every window in the house thing, and it's a thing, and they've got spooky music, and they've got a fog machine, and they've got all this stuff going on, and it's just like, and then you go in their house and like the whole house, even the kitchen, they've got like a Halloween cookie jar and a special pumpkin colored KitchenAid mixer, and you're just like, holy crap, when did they become this? What happened here? Well, we're a capitalist consumer country, so we had to just make all the money we could. So we made it into a whole thing where you have to decorate all month, knock yourself out for a one-day holiday. You just knock yourself out for this one-day holiday, and it's so out of control. And there's so much pressure on parents and adults at Halloween. And so how the heck do you deal with that one? Boundaries. Remember boundaries from another video? Boundaries. Boundaries and understanding that you don't actually have to keep up with everybody else. And understanding, here's the key thing. Here's the key thing I'm going to tell you. All of those people who are just crushing it, and like everything outside the house is perfect, the inside of the house is perfect, their kids have the perfect costumes, everything is absolutely amazing, and you're like, why can't I be like them? No, and I'm not saying that this is like something you should be happy about. I'm saying something, I want you to have empathy for this. They're doing that, but inside, they're in pain. Because I honestly believe that the more over the top people go in things like this, the more pressure they're putting on themselves is because they're trying to heal something. Or they're trying to not feel something. And the action, the pressure that they're feeling to do all of this stuff is crushing them. So instead of looking at them with envy or looking at them and feeling bad about yourself, look at them with compassion. And you can also add, in the event that the person is actually finding immense joy from all of this decorating and cooking and sewing and all of this stuff, it's possible that they feel joy too. There are those people, but most people I talk to are just like, they feel like they have to, and it's crushing them. But if you know that they happen to be really, really joyful in it, be happy for them. Be like, that's really cool that you get to do this. You really go all out. You love this, don't you? Yeah. This is my favorite holiday. This is the best time of the year. This is my Super Bowl. Like, for some people, it is that. But for most people, it's not. It's not. Watch them while they're decorating. If they're not singing and happy, look at them. If they look like, I just can't string another light sometimes. have compassion. Okay, number 4 thing that has really started to annoy me about Halloween, and this has annoyed me back from when I was like in college. Why is every costume for females some sort of sexualized something? You can be a sexy anything. You can be a sexy nurse, a sexy dentist, a sexy doctor, sexy firefighter, sexy astronaut, sexy restaurant inspector, sexy sexy coal miner. I don't know. There's like, it's so hard to find a costume when you're female that it is not trying to sexualize you in some way. You're like, where are the like cute costumes for women? There'll be like maybe 5 of those, and then everything else is just sexy something. Like, and then we're gonna add to that. Oh, let's add to that my other huge pet peeve. Okay, in my life, I bounce back and forth between a size 14 and a 16. Do you know that a size extra large costume does not fit a woman who is a size 14? I don't know whose standards the extra large is by, but it doesn't fit. So forget it when I'm a 16. So then I get to go into the plus size section, where once again, I can be a sexy witch, a sexy doctor, a sexy restaurant inspector. I don't know. You know, sexy secretary, sexy library, sexy wood nymph, sexy whatever. I still have all of those options. But they also do make way more unsexy options in the plus size category. What now? Why would a size 14, 16, 18, 22 woman need options like where I can dress like a hot dog, but we don't present those options to the females that fit in the size extra small to extra large? I'm sorry, what? But I mean, this is just life as a female, and there are more options nowadays. But I mean, and then the costumes never fit, you know, are never going to fit a female who is taller than average. It's not going to happen. Like, they're just made for this like one woman who like doesn't exist. So how do I deal with my obvious anger and frustration about the adult costume situation? I laugh my butt off. I try to find the most ridiculous, sexy costumes, and then I share them with my friends. Like, I text them, post them on Facebook. I just embrace the ridiculousess of a culture that thinks that this is what we want. Because it's not. And it's so ridiculous. I have to laugh at it. If I don't laugh, I'll cry. My brother has a saying. He's a wise man sometimes. He says, I can either laugh or I can cry. I choose to laugh. And that is like almost like our family motto. And then that's kind of how sometimes we got to get through things. So I laugh at it. The other thing that I have done is over the years, I have begun to accumulate pieces of clothing and items that can be put together to make costumes. I did it more when Caden was young and I would be going out trick-or-treating. Nowadays, I really don't dress up. Like, I will probably wear this dress, or I also have a white one with candy on it. It'll be one of these. This is my new one, so I might wear this one. Link down below if you want this dress. It's an affiliate link. I'll make a little money. Thank you. But, and it's like $20. You know, but I started accumulating like different hats and different pieces of clothing and like pants or cool skirts that I could wear with something else, and maybe make it into a witch, or maybe make it into a wood nymph or something, or an elf, you know, just different pieces of clothing over the years, especially as stuff would go on clearance. You buy like costumes and you'll use pieces of the costume. So that's one of the things that, if like the costume situation is just so frustrating to you, is that, you know, you start over time, just you create a tub full of magical pieces that when Halloween comes, you go through your pieces of stuff. Also try the thrift store. There's lots of stuff you can pick up at a thrift store that you can turn into a costume, you know, like I said, different pieces. If you don't have the different pieces, I'm sure the thrift store does. And just kind of like make your own thing. You know, it takes a little more effort, but then, you know that you put in the effort. But really, finding the humor in it, love it. That's my favorite one. Okay, so reason number 5 that I don't like Halloween is very specific to this Halloween when I'm filming this, 2021. For some reason this year it just feels harder. Last year, I don't know, I think we had a better we were still like in lockdown, and I think we had kind of an understanding that we just needed to hold out a little bit longer. We just needed to get through this, get through the holidays, and then, eventually, okay, we're going to have a vaccine and like it's going to get better. And then this year, it just feels like I'm still waiting for the get better part. But it just feels harder. And I think we're all just really in a place where we all expected to be in a different place by now. And we're in a different place than the different place we expected to be. And there's actually something called, I think it's post-pandemic flux syndrome, or maybe it's just pandemic flux syndrome. I don't know. I'll put the link in the video. It was a New York Times article this lady wrote, and she was on Brene Brown, and she was explaining why, like, we were all doing really so much better, and then something happened, and now we're like worse than we were before. It's almost like we have whiplash. So yeah, this year just feels like harder than last year. And I'm really having a struggle understanding that. And I just think it's because we just thought things were going to be different. So how the heck am I going to deal with that one? Well, I'm going to make an effort this year to create some new traditions. I'm going to start some new things around Halloween this year. I think that it's important for me, and maybe it's important for you, to have something new that marks this Halloween as special, and do something differently. Whatever it is that you come up with. If any of you have ideas, please put them down in the description below. Like, I was thinking of maybe somehow letting my neighborhood know, like, to bring like maybe like some canned goods when they come to my house for trick-or-treating, and like having some sort of like a drop-off thing, or maybe like a Toys for Tots drop, and just like kind of letting the neighborhood know, and then like they can come and drop that stuff off when they get their candy. I don't know how that would work, but something like that. And maybe some other traditions, or maybe bring back some traditions from Caden's childhood that we let die out. Like, maybe we will carve pumpkins this year because we haven't done it in like forever. But just, creating some new traditions to mark this Halloween as special and new, and then having something that we can carry into next year and the year after, as just like it's very life affirming to start a new tradition, because starting a new tradition means that it's something that you're going to do again, because it means you're going to be here. And I think that's a very life affirming thing. Now, is everybody ready to hear my Halloween horror story? Okay. It's not scary, and it has a semi-happy ending. From the time I was about 16, I had this huge crush on this guy. And this guy, for the longest time, did not know I was alive. He was dating he was older than I was by about like 4 years or something. And he was dating a girl even older than he was, or a woman, I guess she was. And then ended up going to the same college that he went to, which all my friends went to. We didn't really think outside the box. We went to Rutgers Newark. It's like right there. It's like, I don't know why we didn't think to go away, but we just didn't. Anyway, and so I got to hang out with him. We were like not going out with each other. We were kind of just sort of in that, I don't know, kind of like the kissing a little bit, but we're not exclusive kind of thing. But I was so in love with this guy. Just gotta tell you, so in love with him. And he was that first person that I ever had that feeling about. And so he was involved in college and like running all of like the parties for college and like stuff like that. And like, we had organized parties because we didn't have dorms. So we had like an actual like hall, and people had to come, we had to hire people and all this. So he was in charge of that. That first Halloween, when we were still trying to sort of, figure things out or whatever, I was really happy because I thought he liked me, and I thought that maybe eventually, we'd be like going out. And he actually invited me to be his date for the Halloween party, and I thought that was pretty big. And he had to be there early, like because there's a bunch of stuff to do that day. And so he's like, yeah, if you could just get a ride, to the party, and then, we'll hang out and stuff. And then, I'll take you back home after the party. So that was the plan. I don't 100% remember what I was dressed as, but I think I was dressed as my go-to look of traveling fortune teller. So long skirt, kerchief, big earrings, shawl, tarot cards. I'm pretty sure that's what memories of the night are hazy as in terms of anything positive. But so I went to the party and I saw him for a little bit and he had stuff to do, but I was like so excited. I think I danced with him a little bit and I was with my friends and stuff. And I just, in my head, I was his date, right? Because he asked me. And so then, the night's going on and I haven't seen him for a long time and I kind of can't find him. And so I start asking people like, yo, have you seen, hey, have you seen? And like, people are like, no. And then I asked somebody and it was actually one of the people that I rode to the party with. And they were like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I did see him and he was up in the AV booth with this other girl who was also a friend of mine. And I was like, oh? And he's like, And I was like, what now? And I kept trying to find him. And then somebody else finally told me, they were like, he left with, the other girl that the person saw him in the AV booth with. He left the party with her. He was my ride home. Also, she was supposedly my friend. What the heck just happened? So that night, so now I'm sitting on the floor outside the party and I'm crying and I will never forget because my friend John, who was dressed as a Harlequin clown, also got viciously dumped on that night by another one of my friends. And so he came out and he joined me and we were sitting on the floor outside the party and we were both just the most morose people you could ever meet. And it was horrible. It was horrible. I was so brokenhearted. The next day I went to school and he said he wanted to talk to me and I was like, yeah, well, what do you have to say for yourself? And he basically, just whatever. And I was like, okay, bleep you. And so you're like, well, this is not ending up as like a happy thing. But what turned out happening was, over time, because I still had to see him every day and go to school with him, over time, we did manage to sort of be friends. And then over life, we managed to stay friends. And he even ended up, like while we were in our 40s, we ended up working together. He worked for me in the city. And he actually stayed friends with the girl from the AV booth, although they did not end up together. And the friendship of everybody, well, I mean, I wasn't really friends with her, like friend. And after college, we really didn't see each other. But like I got past my, I want to beat you to a pulp thing. It ended up being okay. And that's a really good thing. Because I could have let it become something else. I could have let it become another really bad memory of Halloween. And it's not necessarily a bad memory of Halloween. It's just a bad romance. It's a bad romance memory more than a bad Halloween memory. And then subsequent Halloween parties at college were a lot of fun and I had a really good time. And I actually did dance with him at every one of them. And it was okay. It was okay. And I was okay after I was done being devastated for a really long time. I was okay. The fact that I was able to continue to have him in my life for a really long time, into our 50s was really a blessing. He passed away during COVID, unfortunately, so it doesn't have like a super happy ending. But he was and always will be a friend and a part of my life. And that's the kind of thing that's possible if you just push yourself a little bit to get over the hurt, a little bit push past things that scare you and hurt you. On the other side of those things, if you push just a little bit, there's joy. And I want you to find it. I want you to find it really, really badly. Because I am so glad I did that. And I'm glad that I've pushed through the things that upset me about Halloween so that I could have Halloween again and like it and enjoy it and have fun. And I'm really glad that I also pushed past some hurt and humiliation to maintain or probably develop a friendship with someone that became a lifelong good thing. That's my story about the 5 things I hate about Halloween and how I turn them around and make them work for me anyway. And we can all do this together. I want to hear from you now in the comments. Start sharing what bugs you about Halloween, and if you know how you can fix it, then share it. If you don't know how you can fix it, ask for advice. Like, let's share with each other. Let's share how we get through things. How do you get past the triggering childhood trauma things that just come up a lot around Halloween? How do you do it? What are your techniques? How do you find the joy? How do you feel the pain but keep going? How do you do those things? I believe that if we all share, that we can absolutely get better together. Remember that I love you so much. I am so glad that you came here and you listened to me ramble today. And I just want you to know that you are loved and that you are worthy of that love, and that you just coming here and watching this video, even if you didn't 100% pay attention, you did something a little bit good for yourself today. And for that, you should be really proud. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again real soon. Love you. Bye.